90% of the time when my phone rings, you know what the person says on the other end of the line? I'll tell you coming up next. So the phone rings and I pick it up and I say, hi, this is Dan Palomino with the Hawaii team. And the person on the other end of the line usually starts the conversation like this. Hey, we're thinking about moving to Hawaii. Can you send me some places I can look at? Hi, everyone. Dan Palomino with the Hawaii team in KW Big Island. I laugh because there's like so many layers deep that we need to go, because most of the people who I talk to say, hey, we're thinking about moving to Hawaii. We've always had a dream of moving to Hawaii. Wouldn't it be great if we could move to Hawaii? What if we just sold everything and packed up and moved to Hawaii? These are the topics and conversations that I get, and most of them don't know anything about moving to Hawaii, which is okay. I don't expect them to. But we've got to dig down on some levels and we've got to help them. So like one of the first questions are, like, do you know which island you want to be on? And of course they don't. And then so I start giving them a little bit of an education on, Maui and Kauai and Oahu. When they think of the big city, they think Honolulu, right? They know Honolulu, but they don't know that it's on Oahu. They think that Honolulu most of the time is on this island, the Big Island. And then or Hawaii Island, and we have to educate them around this. But then once we get through that, we move on to the next level. If they've decided that they really want to be here, or they know that they want to be here on Hawaii Island, then we've got to educate them about parts of the island and what they can buy. So I'm going to share a screen here with you, and I'm going to, we're going to take a look at the map. And you've seen me pull this out many times before, but it's worth noting again, because here's a typical call that I got last week. Hey, I sold my place here in upstate New York, and I'm going to move to Hawaii. Yeah, I've always dreamed about moving to Hawaii, so I want to move to Hawaii. And I say, again, what island? And they don't know. And so we eventually get down to this island, and I said, do you know where you want to buy on this part of the island? He said, no, I'm open to a lot of things. All I need is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and hopefully an ocean view. And the reality is that, where you're going to be on this island is really going to be dictated by price point. And so I asked him, what kind of price are you looking for? And he said, about 100 or 120,000. And while I believe that can buy a fairly decent place in upstate New York, 120,000 is not going to buy you very much here on the Big Island. So let's do a little geography lesson here again. And again, let's split this right down the middle, right? Right down the middle. This side, the left side of the map, where you see Kailua Kona. This is the west side of the island. Over here on the right side of this picture, where you see Hilo, this is the east side of the island. Okay, so look at the map. One side is greener than the other. What side is greener? The east side. And if you see a very green part of the island, then you know it gets a lot of rain. And so an average price point, you can buy a decent house in the east side of the island from anywhere in here from 250 to 500,000. You can buy a pretty decent single family home. This is where you're going to be. Over here on the west side of the island in Kona, where it's drier, this is where all the resorts are, right? Down here, Puako, this little beachside community. Kukio is that exclusive resort for millionaires and billionaires, right? All this area, Waikoloa Beach, Manalani, Mauna Kea, all in this area right here. This is where all the resorts are. And the reason why is because it's dry, right? An average of about 4 inches of rain per year down in the resorts. Obviously, the price is going to be much more. And so, a single family home right here in Kona, and I'm talking about a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square feet is going to be about 1.4 million. So again, if you're not in that 1.4 million, does that mean you can't buy a home in Kona? No. Of course, there are exceptions to that. There's parts of North Kona, the Palisades region area, as an example, where you can buy a house for $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, $900,000. Those do occur. I'm just talking as an average. But even at that, some of you say, well, I'm not in the market for an $800,000 single family home. So I hear people say, well, what about a condo? What can I get for a condo? Keep in mind that a condo here on this east side or this west side of the island on the Kona side, a 2-bed, 2-bath that doesn't probably have an ocean view is going to be around $500,000. And so again, if that's not, what you were thinking, then you're going to have to look elsewhere. Can you buy condos on the east side for less than $500,000? Sure. You absolutely can. And some will have views and some of them won't. Down here in the south part of the island, this ocean view, this Naalehu area, this is, South Point, prices are a lot more inexpensive, right? You can buy homes and there's not a lot of condos down here, but you can buy homes a lot less expensive. What do I mean by that? Well, $500,000, $600,000 for a house would easily be doable down here. Up in Hawaii, the north part of the island, mostly you're finding acreage properties, generally a single family home with some acreage, and it's going to be more expensive. It's going to be really around that $1 million mark or more down here in the north part of the island. But this part of the island, a lot more wind, a good mix of rain and sun you're going to have every day, but more wind, more rain, more sun. Down here in South Point, going to be hotter, definitely going to have a lot more sun, probably less rain. And over here, it just depends on the year on the west side of the island, if it's a rainy year or not. But over here on the east side of the island, you can bet there's going to be a fair amount of rain. When I say fair, you could have up to 400 inches of rain in a calendar year. That's why the properties are less expensive. All right, I hope that gives you a good idea of what to buy, where you can buy it, the difference between the east side and the west side. Again, check out this video before you decide to pack up your life and head to Hawaii, or just give me a call. You can always call me on my cell phone, 808-987-3306, 808-987-3306. I'm always happy to pick up. And again, if you need to buy, sell, or invest here in real estate, we're happy to help. Share this video with other people who are thinking about moving to Hawaii and packing up and throwing caution to the wind. Share this with them and subscribe. And until we talk again, aloha.